Hi, it's Tim the Dad, and I'm here with Sarah from Renegade Game Studios. Sarah, what do you got for us today?
We have 3 brand new games that we're debuting here at Origins Game Fair, and I would love to show you first off Flip Chips. Yeah, this is a co-op dexterity game where you are actually flipping discs from a little platform onto enemy ship cards. And those enemies are invaders coming into your base, and you need to destroy them before they deal too much damage to you. So if you can flip that ship onto the enemies, then you'll defeat them and your team will win.
So this already is something my daughter would be better at than me, because she's so much better at dexterity games.
Oh yeah, if she's good at dexterity games, you won't have a shot. But luckily she's on your team, so there you go, it doesn't matter. Yeah, and just for fun, we made the box so you can see it either way. Flip chips, flip chips.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's neat stuff. This is a game by King Blanco, and he designed Fuse.
We love Fuse.
Oh, if you enjoyed Fuse, you make sure you try out Flatline as well. It just came out. It's another game in the Fuse universe. But both those games use timers to increase the suspense. In Flip Chips, you use the dexterity to create that same tension. So it's very fun. I'm really excited to be showing it off. It comes out in July.
So what else you got?
So another game we have coming out this week at Origins and also releasing at Friendly Lake Game Stores in July is Sentient. This game is by J. Alex Picard. He designed World's Fair 1893.
And that is one of our hits. We really love that game.
Oh, if you love that game, this one feels like an Alex game as well. I think that what he does really well is makes a lot of very simple but interconnected pieces in his games, and as you play, you might have to make very difficult choices between what you're sacrificing. Am I gonna put my robot in this spot and change these dice so that I get more points for this new bot that I just placed, or do I put this into a different space and get less points for this bot but keep scoring my other bot? So there's dice manipulation, there's area control, there's set collection, all the good pieces going on.
And if you haven't checked out our playthrough and review of World's Fair, make sure you go and check that out right now. Well, maybe wait until after this video.
There you go. It's delightful. And actually World's Fair is up for an Origins Award this weekend.
Cool.
Yeah, and just got a Mensa Select Award. Very well loved game, so definitely make sure you watch it.
Yeah, it's an excellent game.
Nice. And we have one more game this weekend as well. And this we already sold out of. It was immediately a hot game of the con, and this is The Fox in the Forest. It is a partnership we did with Foxtrot Games that also worked on World's Fair with us, and Lanterns. This little design studio is fantastic because every single game they put out, they put a ton of effort into, and The Fox in the Forest is no exception. It's a 2-player only trick-taking game where all of the cards in the deck that are odd numbers are going to have a special power that do something to kind of mess up the rules of the game. Also, the scoring really makes it possible to play as a 2-player game because it scales in a weird way. If you get 0 to 3 tricks out of 13, then you get 6 points, which is the maximum number of points you can get. Or if you get all of the tricks in a game, you get 0 points because you're greedy. And then in between, they kind of flip. If you get only 4 tricks, you only get 1 point. So at the beginning of the game, you're like, I'm going to try and get as many tricks as I can, and you're playing all your cards. But then as you keep going, if you're picking too many tricks, you need to scale that back and throw it back to the other person, make them get some tricks under their belt. So it's a really dynamic game, and the artwork is just unbelievably good.
Well, and as a 2-player game, it would be perfect for dad versus daughter.
I would imagine so, yeah. And this is coming out July 19th. We're completely out of pockets except for our demo here this weekend, but we'll definitely have to talk later.
But you're going to be able to show this to us right now, right?
Yes, I could definitely give you a little rundown.
All right, so let's check these 3 games out and see what they're all about. All right, so let's take a look at Flip Chips.
So in Flip Chips, the goal is to be able to destroy this onslaught of enemy attackers trying to destroy your base. And they are moving down towards you one step at a time, depending on their speed. And if they make it into your base, they're going to deal damage based on the number on their card. So, in order to defeat them, we need to be able to flip our ships and hit them. And I'll give you a demonstration, no guarantees this is going to work work out. But if
I promise not to laugh at you.
okay, you have 2 promises. If you don't hit, you can't laugh. But if I do hit, you have to cheer.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go. Ready? Flip. Oh, so close. Okay, so I do have special ability on that ship, and it says what is okay. There we go. If you do not land on an enemy, you may shoot 1 short card length with the targeting computer. And that's very helpful because we look over there, and I was, it might not be helpful enough. Oh, I'm sorry. So I can move it that much. So I can move my ship, and I'm going to say that hits.
So just as long as any part of the disc is touching your card, you've hit it.
Yes. So I hit that ship, and I destroy it, and now this ship is no longer going to cause me problems, which is very helpful because this one was kind of a jerk ship. So I get rid of that, and now I have another ship I can flip. So we'll give it a try again. Hey! Nice. So I get rid of this ship, which is helpful. And this is a cooperative game, so there will be many teammates, hopefully, that are helping me out. They will all flip their ships as well. And as soon as the round is over, everybody's flipped their ships, then the enemies get to take their turn. They are all going to move based on their movement speed. This one is going to move 2 spaces because it's got 2 chevrons, and it's going to deal 3 damage to me.
Show what that looks like there.
And that's no good because we start at 20 damage, 20 health, and I'll take 3 points of damage. And we're going to move down all of these ships based on their speed, and
Which hopefully will make them easier to hit.
which may make them easier to hit. That's a good point. And if we take any more damage, then we're going to get down to this point here. When we do that, we actually get to add an additional ship to our group here, and after we've collected enough of these basic ships, we're going to go on and get even better ships. Now they're
There we go.
better ships get upgraded, and they have new special powers now. And even better than that, every member of your team has different powers on their ships at each level, so you really need to work together to decide which ships you are focusing on. The other thing that you're going to need to do before the end of the game is to destroy the mothership, because by the time we get to the final assault, you have to have dealt 4 points of damage to her to be able to defeat this incredible attack coming at you.
And then, just to point out, the mothership is this big box right here.
Yeah, so you want to try and get them into the mothership. And this is a $40 game. It comes out in July by designer Kane Klenko. And the artist of this game, Quantai Moria, is actually going to be here at Origins signing copies of the game on Saturday. So we're excited to have him here.
All right, so let's take a look at Sinti.
So this game is by Deon Skipper. It is also coming out in July. And in this one, you are in charge of a factory, and you are trying to program your sentient robots to most efficiently work for the human race. And when you do that, each turn, you're going to choose one of these available bots. When you pick this bot, you add your investor to show that you picked from that slot, and then you have to plug it into your board. When you do that, let's say I put this in over here, it's going to modify the dice on your board. For example, this one, I don't change that die because it says equals, but I will add 1 to this die, so it goes from a 1 to a 2. At the end of the round, we're going to check the equations on all of these bots to see if we get points for them. So you want to make sure that you're manipulating your factory and trying to plug your bots in a very efficient way. So let's look at this one. This says that the lower of these 2 numbers, -1, is how many points you get. The lower of the 2 numbers is a 2, so 2 minus 1, we're going to get only 1 point for that card. Not so great. We look at this one. If this number on the die is lower than this number, then we're going to get 4 points. That worked out a little bit better for us. The challenge is that on the next turn, we don't score this until we have all 4 bots in there. So if we plug this in, then it's going to change these dice. It might mess up our numbers. That one still worked out. Put this into a 3. So now this actually made this spot better. And we look at this, if these two added together is a 4 or less or greater than 10, then we're going to get 4 points. So this actually worked out so that we'll be able to score all those guys. So that's great. Also, every time you take a bot, you're going to add one of your investors into that spot. And at the end of a round, you see who has the most control of each investor token. For example, here, I have 3 of the yellow players' token bonds are adding control to the military one. So yellow would collect this token. At the end of the game, they're going to multiply all of their military bots by the number of military tokens they have. So it's a bit of set collection. You want more of these that match with the robots you picked. So that would go to the yellow player. But then this one, we have the red player has 1, 2, 3, 4 total that they can add to service. So they would collect the service one. It's a little bit of area control manipulation there. Also, one other thing that might be helpful is when you place one of these, you can also add additional pawns to increase your influence in an area. But these are very limited. You only have 5 you can use per round, and once you use them, they're stuck there. But the other thing you want to do with them is that when you plug in a bot into your factory, if you don't want one of these to have an effect on your dice, you can cover it up with this gear, and then it doesn't change the dice. So if I plug that in there, the 3 would stay, this would turn into a 5. So that's how the overall game works. There's, of course, a few other little things, but there you go. Lots of interconnected pieces.
Just enough to kind of whet your appetite for when the game actually comes out in July.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Now, one of the things that I really want to focus on, because you guys know Dad likes the dice, okay? These dice are really cool looking. So let's just take a look at those a little closer here.
I love it. Our graphic designers did a great job with these. They made them all look like circuit boards,
yes,
which is very perfect for this game.
Very cool. And of course the artwork on the game is really neat too.
Another thing that we really tried to do that I think turned out super well is all of these boards, you get to create your own evil corporation when you start the game. So you pick which side of each board you want,
cool,
and they all fit together. So no matter which
so this
side
would be
you're
Nautilus
picking,
Industries.
but you could instead play as Carbon Industries, and no matter what, they're going to match up. It makes sense.
Yep, that looks really cool too.
Very fun. Awesome. So this comes out in July, and you can find out more about it at renegadegames.com. And this is the Fox in the Forest. We're here at the Origins Game Fair, and in this game it's a 2-player trick-taking game, which I know is a little unusual. There aren't a lot of 2-player trick-taking games out there, but this one does actually work for exactly 2 players because these cards all have special powers on them that change the way the game works. Each one of the 2 players is going to start with 13 cards in their hand, and you're going to play these 1 card at a time to try and either win or lose tricks depending on where you're at in the game. And I say that because if you take over the total of 13 tricks, exactly 0 to 3 tricks, then you'll get 6 points. If you take 7 to 9 tricks, you'll get 6 points. But if you're greedy and you take all the tricks, you don't get any points. Or if you take in between 4 and 6 points, you'll get a few less. And what's going to happen each round is one player is going to play a card, and if it has an ability, that'll take effect. This one says, when determining the winner of a trick with only 1 9, treat the 9 as if it were the trump suit. At the beginning of the game, we flipped over what we call a decree card, and this is going to be the trump for this round. So right now, this witch is actually a 10 of bells, but the player opposing her will then look at their hand, and they have to play a key. So I'll choose for my hand. I'm going to play this low key number, because I can't win the trick anyway, and since she's actually a trump suit and because it's higher, this player would win that trick. You'll keep going until all the tricks have been won, and then you'll see how many points there are. And we'll give you another example. So this person leads with this one. It says, when you play this, you may exchange the decree card with one from your hand. So this allows the player to say, well, I've got a lot of these key cards, so I'm going to switch the trump out for keys instead in the future. That's only a 3. Now this player will play, and maybe they play that one. Whenever you lead with this, opponent has a bell, then they must play either a bell or their highest bell, either the 1 or the highest. That would have been a better card to lead, but that's what happened. This player wins that trick. You go through all the cards, seeing who has the highest or following the extra rules until all the tricks have been dispersed. And I did want to point out that all of the odd numbered cards in the deck have unique artwork on them. There are 3 different suits in this game, and they are all just absolutely gorgeous. I love how the artwork turned out on this.
Yeah, it's got very cool artwork.
Yeah, so that is The Fox in the Forest. It is a 2-player trick-taking game in the same line as The Blood of an Englishman, another 2-player card game from us. And you can find out more about this at renegadegames.com.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
If you would like to support us, you can visit patreon.com/dadvdaughter.
Like and follow us on Facebook to stay current on our show schedule, sneak peeks at future shows, and to interact with us.